Welcome back, Great Garden Rooms. We're here over in Wallingford today and we're going to be cladding the garden room behind us in Ecoscape's composite slatted cladding. So we're going to get straight to it. We'll show you the bits and bobs you got. So these are your reveals, so cladded reveals. They've got the corner pieces on them. They actually come slightly larger, about this size, so you have to rip them down. But that's how you do your reveals around the door, get a nice finish. And the slatted boards are these over here. So this is it, beautiful cladding. It's got really nice texture to it. If you can come closer, you can sort of see it's got this sort of wood effect sort of coming off it. So really nice product. And we're going to be showing you today how we clad the room in that. So we'll get straight to it. We'll show you the fixings. We'll get with the corner pieces here. So we start with the edges. So this is how we do it. We're going to start straight on the corner pieces, so you get these actual corner trims. So if you come over here, James, we'll show everyone these corner pieces here. And they're sort of 90-degree right angles, and you can sit them there. So on this side they got that, and that's how you start your cladding. So you can start your cladding on both sides, and that's the idea. You start from the corners and work your way down to the rim, so you finish with a rip, and it gets a nice finish. But you put the corners on each end. And some of you might be wondering, what do you do on the unseen sides? You finish the metal sheets up to it, just like so. So this is another 90-degree corner piece, just like this. If you look, the metal corrugated sheets finish up to it, just lovely. I'll bring that around here. And you can see here, it's a real nice finish. How it ends up, you don't have to fix it, you've just got your fixing points there, and that holds it on nice. Working down the boards, this is really straightforward to work with. It's just like timber, you trim it to size. Obviously we've got our angle on there, so we're going to be doing angle cuts. But you offer it up, you match your space in here, so you can use some packers. And then what you do is you actually put these clips in. We're going to go like this, and then you fix the clip into the batten there with some of these screws. That's how they go in there. And then you fit these clips onto 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're spacing your battens at 500s. That's the recommended spacing for the batten. And then you actually only fix one screw through the cladding board. So you pilot it and then you fix one of those screws through. So we'll show you how we'll do that in a bit, but that's the basis of it. So it's good to get that out of the way with start the video. Fixing all these corner pieces in. Obviously this is our first part, so we're going to be using stainless steel screws. Little things like this. The ones they provide are a little bit short, so I like using these slightly longer ones. Pilot hole through here and then just fix them through with your impact gun. Careful though, because they can snap. Stainless is very brittle, so these do tend to break a bit, but you just fix them corner to corner all the way up and down. That holds those corner pieces on solid, and obviously they're not going to rust. So always important to use stainless screws. Don't skip that part, it's worth it for longevity. So let's get started with the reveals. We've already fitted one over here. We've ripped it down, we've put a mitre on it. So how you're doing reveals, you're just going to measure from your door sill all the way up to here. So we're at 198. So you'll mitre one end, and then you put it up on your saw and just cut it from this inside part up to 198, and that's going to fit in. So we've got another one over here we've done. And to rip it down, obviously you're just going to measure your reveal, which is here, inside to out. So that's 40 mil at the top there, and at the bottom we're at 45. So all I've done is I've popped that down here, measured 45 from the inside, and measured 40 from here where it's short at the top, and then we just pop our track on it like so. It's nice to have another board here to just rest the track on and just rip it down like that. So it's as straightforward as that to do your rips. Again, you can use a skill saw with a fence or something like that. You don't have to have a track. That's just the way we're doing it. And again, to fix these, we'll do it like so. Shall we show you how we fix those? Little 2.5 mil drill bit will work just fine. You offer it up. Leave a bit of a gap so you've got that few mil expansion. Ecoscape has a chart when you order this. You go online and you can have a look at their fitting instructions, and what they'll do is they'll say if it's 20 degrees, I can't remember off the top of my head, but for example, if it's 20 degrees outside, you want to leave a 4 mil gap on the top and bottom of the board. That allows for expansion. And if it was say 10 degrees, you might want to leave a 6 mil gap. So go online, you can check out the charts, it tells you all the expansion gaps required on the fitting, but for here we're leaving a gap, so we're going to offer it up to top. So we've got a gap on the bottom, so it's not going to press against the sill. And all we're going to do is just pile it through the cladding part here. There's like a little recess where you can pop that in. Get your stainless screw. And then offer that in like that. Get your drill with no battery, that's handy. So we'll get that in. Get back to it. Make sure you're nice and snug up to the reveal. So you're nice and tight, it can't go anywhere. That's going to give you a nice finish. Fix that in, a couple of clicks on the impact, and that's held. Now we're going to fix here, here on all the battens. That's going to hold that in solid. And then we're going to cut the top piece of the reveal. And the best way to do that is put your mitre on one end like we did on the other. Put your mitre on the other end on a larger size. You can measure it, but it's always good just to tease it in. So cut both your mitres, then we're just going to work our way down. Keep going backwards and forwards to get that perfect fit with your mitre. So we'll cut that now. Okay, so we've ripped this down to the size of the reveal above the door, head, and then we've come down here, and all we've done is, like I said earlier, if you just come around here, you can see that we've mitered both ends to fit on top of the reveal. And what we do is we just trim it down. So we get our mark roughly where it is, and we'll just trim it down bit by bit. And the reason we do this is, look, that mark there is the actual measurement, so it's actually about 3 mil bigger than what it said. But when we offer this up, we're going to get that in absolutely spot on, and then we're going to have to make it just squeeze in here nicely. Look, push up that end a bit, but we give it a little tap that's going to go around the battens. And look, so if you come closer, James, everyone will be able to see what we're doing with there. Now that is right in, look at that. That's the finish we want, just on the corner there. Beautiful mitre, it's all touching, and then we'll just fix it. Again, pilot it in with our pilot screws, and then stainless steel fix it. If you're interested what stainless steel screws these are, I think these are from Screwfix, or Ultra Screw. These are just the ones we're using to fix it in. As I said, the screws you get from Ecoscape are great, but you're sort of limited on these when you order them. So these are the ones for fixing the actual cladding board. So they've got a coloured head on them, and we will cut that. When we put the cladding board up and we start the board, you actually have to fix the board in, which we'll get to in a bit. But that's what you use these coloured heads for. So don't go away and start firing these into all these parts, because you might run out and that'd be annoying. So just use the stainless screws, they're the exact same thing. And they're unseen as well, because all this is going to be covered by cladding, so you won't see it. But that's it. Now we'll fix that up, and then we'll get on to starting the cladding. You're always going to work from one side, so you're going to start here to get your gap perfect and work your way whole way down the room. And then the same on the sides, start here and work that way. So we'll get to fixing that, and then we'll start on the cladding boards. Okay, so we're going to start from right to left. We're doing that in this building because that's just the way you want to do it. You can start from left to right, but on this one we're starting right to left. This is the first board up. Now it's very fiddly, so it's a bit of a two-man job, because you need to get your spacing. I've looked at the expansion table, and we need a 2 mil packer above. On today's weather, it's calling for a 2 mil packer, so we've got a 2 mil packer above it, and you're going to offer the board up, and you're going to leave obviously a 2 mil gap along the top there. Now these gaps are 12 mil, so nothing's important, and this is why it's a bit of a two-man job, is to get your 12 mil packers. So as you offer your first board up, you want to put them in there, and that's why it's a two-man job, you know, hold it. And then what you do with the first board is you fix it with your colour matched screws. Now they're a square head. Ecoscape provide a bit for this in the screw, so you don't need any other tools. Don't put the clips on, you literally just fix it here, 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 and as you go down, fix it there, put the packers in there, fix again, very straightforward. Then you can get rid of those packers, and you're just going to continuously run a 2 mil packer, in this case, along the top the whole way down. So once you've got the first board up, this is the part of this job I really love. It's a really good system. It holds the boards on, and you ensure it's not going to bow out or anything like that. No David Bowie going on this job. So basically, you put them in like this. So you just run down the board. Because you fixed it in, they're going to be held tight, and they're quite tight. They've got these like little recesses, these teeth on them that grip the board, and you put it back. And what that does is actually now allows a gap. So you've got a gap between the composite and your cladding. So if you have a look at there, James, you can show everyone. You see that they put a nice gap, so loads of airflow in the building. Obviously we've double battened anyway, but super system that is, because it's going to work really well. So you just slot these in all the way down. Now Ecoscape call for 2 in the center. On the instruction manual they say 2 rows of battens 50 mil apart. Now I'm 100% sure that's just a security, because like I said earlier in the video, you only actually fix the cladding with 1 screw or 2 screws, sorry, in the center of the boards. And what that does, see that one's a bit loose there. What that does is allow, if you fix it here, it allows this end to expand and this end to expand and shrink, contract. So that's why they offer for 2 here. I think it's just support, because if you've only got 1 in and that fails, the board's going to slide down. Then you're going to have to come back to the job and probably like face fix it through there, and it's not going to be the prettiest job. One thing to mention as well, when you're face fixing, pilot the hole with a bit and then maybe countersink it to get a real nice finish. That's quite nice. But I think just 2 here's fine. We've done it on a few jobs and that's absolutely fine. You know, that is difference of 50 mil apart. I mean, if this batten failed, obviously, yes, they're now going to drop, but this battle's never going to fail. That's there. It's got all the breathable stuff, so it's not going to rot. So double fix it there. That's what we do. And then we just go down. So what we do here is we have these other screws, look. So these are the screws that they provide you with, just these little ones. They're a little bit fiddly. They're very small, but I get it, because they're going to make it the right size so it doesn't go through the batten and puncture any cables you might have behind. So that's it. So we're just going to go up the building now. We're going to just touch these in like this. So we just clip it in, nip it in. You don't have to go crazy, start flying them in. You just come around here, mate. You'll be able to see. You know, that's all we're doing. We're just doing that. We'll do that all the way down. Another thing as well, these don't stick into the bit too well. You've got to be careful because they're stainless screws. Look, they just fall out. And that is a little bit fiddly. So it's not a job you can rush. You have to take your time and just enjoy it, which we're doing. So now we're going to fix these in. Look, so we'll fix these center pieces. 1, 2. As I said before, I'm sure this is just a backup. And then what you need to do is pilot these ones, because you're right on the edge of the tongue. If you don't pilot it, you're most likely going to split it, and you don't want that happening. So pilot that. I'll just grab my drill. Pause that, James.
Yeah, you're on.
Okay, so a little 2.5 mil drill bit. Pop it through like that. And then you can just fix your screw through there. And that's going to hold it real nice and tight and not split any of the board. It's important to get the right size. For these screws, I'm using a 2.5 mil bit. If you go any smaller, it still stretches it and cracks it. So that's what we're doing. And that's that board fix, look. So it doesn't move around, doesn't do anything, it's solid. It can't go up and down, and now it can do all its expansion and contraction as it pleases. So that is how we start it, and we're just going to keep going. So next board is exactly the same scenario, fix them all like that, and then we're going to have to end up with the rip again, which is fiddly, and I'll get to that in a second. Another thing, just before we move on to the rip cut here, just thought I'd show you how we fix up, how you fix boards to the next bit here. So it's got a little groove in it there, and that literally just slides up on here, look, and it fits in really nice like that. And now they're in the groove, so it can't come out, so it's held from pushing up that way. And then you start the next board with your 2 mil packer at the top, which we haven't got, but just for this video I'm showing you how we do it. And then because it wants to bend in, because it's on the groove there, so it's got tension, so you can just slot this in and it holds it there, and it almost holds the whole board, which is actually just a neat design from Ecoscape. I just love that. It makes actually fixing these by yourself a little bit easier. You don't always have to have 2 people when you're running down. You can just lift up yourself, get that one in, fix your center ones, and you're away. Next board, next board, next board. So yeah, nice and straightforward. Okay, so we wanted to show you how we rip the board down when we get to this bit, and we were hoping it was going to be like an L shape so we could show you all that. But we've been really fortunate, and it's a full board up to here. So each gap's 12 mil, and we're probably sitting at about 13. So it's not actually necessary. You couldn't fit a rip in there. And that's one thing with this cladding that's a little bit frustrating when you've got slats, because if you get to reveal and it's not working out nicely, there's literally nothing you can do. So I'd love to stand here and say we measured and built the building around it, but we didn't. So that's what we're left with, and it's worked really well because that looks great. And then we can just start with another cut here and just continue it along. We're actually going to run another piece of batten in there because obviously we've got this reveal trim here that's in the way and we won't be able to secret fix it. We'd have to face fix it. So just going to stick another batten in there and then we can carry on just as we've been doing here, fix. But yes, that's worked out well. So hopefully when we get to this end, we'll have some better news for you. Hopefully we'll be doing a rip round here so we can show you how we cut that all in and make it look good. But sometimes, like I said, you are just left with what you're left with. Sometimes you can end up with one slat right touch in, you have to cut the slat in half and it doesn't look very good, so then you cut it back a bit and left the bigger gap. You just have to be a bit creative and sort of manipulate things in. So lovely. We'll run down there and then when we get to there we will hopefully show you how we rip them down. Okay, on to the reveals. Now we've been very fortunate here up to the doors. It was 1, 2, 3, 4 whole lengths and it just finished up nicely, so we got very lucky there. Then we ran all the boards along the top. And then again, we got super lucky because the board finished here and we can put another one in. So we didn't have to do any rips there. Now, we've got to do a rip around the window. Now that's been installed. As you can see, it's right on the corner here. So we want to sort of get rid of this. It's a nice spacing, so it's quite fortunate. We're going to rip down there. So while this is there, that'll be a nice space in there. So we'll cut down there, right on line with that second board. And then we'll do a little notching out for all this. And again, we'll leave a few mil on the top and then a couple of mil above the aperture here. So here's one we've cut. How we did it, we used a jigsaw. So I'll just show you now how we did all that. So all we did was measure from top to there, left a couple of mil, trimmed into that. Straightforward, you just cut down there with your jigsaw, or you can use skill saw, track saw, whichever you want to do, plunge saw. And then around here we've done a bit of detail. So we've measured in line with this to begin with, because we know that's our highest cut. So we measured across into there and we just cut that straight. So that's that bit out. Then we offered it up and we knew that it's not going to fit. So then James, who's holding the camera right now, has just been on the jigsaw and he's trimmed just that little bit off and notched it out there. So we've got this lovely L step there. Now when you offer that up and move it over, look, if you come close, you can see that that's going to be just a nice gap there. You've got your gap there, that matches at the top. And then on the L-shaped cut there, that's just going to offer up nicely to this one. There's a little join, but there's nothing you can do about that, but that continues the boards looking all perfect. And we've just got a little gap under the sill there, and then we'll continue running the boards underneath the window. We'll do the same on this side. It's very straightforward, as easy as that. And that'll be the cladding done. Then we've only got a few more bits to go. We've done all down this side, if you have a look. This side's all been done. We've got our outdoor socket there. All this is looking really, really nice. At the end here, this is what we were left with. This is something that you don't see in the pictures much, but unfortunately it's all you can do, because if you were to add another length in there, it's not going to fit. And if you cut half one of these down, these are hollow, so you're going to have a hole in it. So we think that just looks nicer to finish it there on the end. And that's it. So very straightforward in terms of that. We're going to get on with this now, continue to go around the window, and then when we're finished up, we'll show you it all and we'll do a little review of it. On to the end of the room, you end up with your final piece here, final piece of the puzzle. We've ripped this one down, just 2 battens here. We've got our clips in, you just tuck them behind. If you're a bit close up here, if you can see, you can just touch the other ends behind you, unscrew that, lift this out, pop them in, and you slide them down. So you put them in and then slide the clips down, fix them in, and this will be it. So this has worked out quite nicely, so we can offer it up. Sometimes you have to just kick the bottom with your foot, get that over like so, and then it's a bit of manipulating, but once you've got the last piece in, there you go, that's fixed, we're all good. So we end up with a slightly larger gap there, but that's nothing to worry about. And we're going to fix the last piece in with our colour matched pieces. So we need that with the triangle end. These ones I showed you the earlier. And what we'll do is we'll just get the height right up the top. Make sure we're all good on the height. Oh, I haven't got the tool belt on, no good. So just going to pull that down a bit. Give it a wiggle. And then just fix them in. So we want to pilot that first. Sorry. So I'll just show you guys in the middle. Where's our clip? So we're about here. So just pilot that in. Be careful not to get the drill to hit the sides as you do it. The cone on the end that will just mark the boards, you don't want to do that. So just pilot that, it gives it a bit of give. And that will hold that board, and we'll do 1, 2, 3 on the end. And that's the cladding finished. Okay, so that's the cladding finished. As you can see, we've got all the corner pieces up, all the trims on, reveals have come out really nice. It all matches all the doors. The customer's chosen these matte black up and down lighters, which is really smart. Over here we've got the little window here, just for a bit of ventilation, because they've got a running machine behind there. And that's it finished. So cladded 3 sides. If you come inside, we'll just show you what the building looks like indoors. So we've got the spotlights here, small window up there, TV on the wall, and the customer's got some squat racks and bits and bobs over here. So yeah, that's it done. We've put gym flooring down, matched the colour of the skirting board to the walls, consume unit up there. And as always, if you've got any comments or if you've got any questions on how we do the cladding, please drop in the box below. Always in the comments. I love chatting to you guys. So let me know what you think, and let me know if you've got any questions. So if you could also hit the subscribe button, that would be very helpful, and we will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.